Hey artists, today we're going to do some fall leaf pictures with radial symmetry. Follow along with me and I'll show you all the steps.
All right, to get started, we're going to take the little piece of paper first and we're going to fold it in half. All right, we are going to draw half of a leaf on this paper. So there's all kinds of different leaves you could try to make. You could do one that looks like an oak leaf with kind of the bumpy lines that go out. If you wanted a leaf kind of shaped that way. You could also draw a leaf that has that just kind of that lemon shape. It's really up to you, but what you want to make sure you do is you draw on the folded side. So when we open it, it will fold open and be a leaf that is the same on both sides. You do not want to accidentally draw on this open edge, because if you draw on the open side, it is going to cut out and break into two pieces and you will not have a good leaf. So I can choose whichever leaf I want to make. If I don't like the way I draw it, the awesome thing is we're making a tracer, so I could always turn it inside out and try again. As long as I'm not writing on the open side, I'm writing on the side with the fold. So now I'm thinking, you know what? I want to do the kind of leaf that has kind of that triangle shape, almost like a maple leaf. That's the leaf I've decided to draw. Now I drew half of it, so I'm drawing the half that I can see, and I'm imagining that the other half is over here. So when I cut it out of this folded paper, it will open up to be a full leaf. So grab those scissors, and we are going to cut out the leaf. Cutting around. Now I'm cutting through both sides because it's folded. Perfect. I can take this piece and throw it in the trash. And now when I open this piece up, look at that. I have a leaf that is the same on both sides. So now I'm going to set my beautiful leaf over here to the side, and I'm going to take this large square piece of paper. I'm going to ask that you fold it in half. I like to line the edges up so they are the same, and then I hold it down and then I fold over. I'm going to have you take that same piece of paper and fold it in half again. All right, creasing the line. Now when I open it, I'm going to see that now I have 4 even sections. The next thing I want to do is turn that paper so it's more like the top is the pointy part, almost like a diamond shape. I'm going to take the bottom corner and bring it up to meet the top corner. I hold it with that hand so I can make a nice fold. So I folded it in half, but this time I folded it in half into a triangle shape. The last fold we do here is I'm going to hold this down. I'm going to take this corner and I'm going to fold it over to that corner. So I'm taking it from here and folding it over to this corner. I hold it down so it doesn't move, and then I push down the crease. So we made a smaller triangle. Some people in my class like to put this on as a hat. But that's not what we're doing. We're going to open this up, and now you will see you have 8 different pieces on your page. The next step is that you're going to take that pencil and you are going to trace a large circle right in the center of your page. So I hold it down nice and tight with this hand, take my pencil, and I go around the outside and around. Perfect. And now I have my circle shape, and I have 8 different sections. Now comes our leaf. We are doing radial symmetry, so we want it to be the same all the way around. The first place I want you to put your leaf is on, so your leaf has a folded line in the center and you have a folded line here. You're going to match it up so it fits right in that space. And you are going to trace around your leaf. So we hold it down, take your time, trace around your leaf. All right. Now, anything that goes on the top also goes on the bottom, so I'm going to put it upside down. Now, I've had some people that like put it over here or like way up here. You want the same amount of space or distance from here to the middle as this one to the middle. So I place it, I find that fold, I want to make sure that I line it up. And again, I am tracing around the outside of the leaf that I made. All right. So if it's the same on the top and the same on the bottom, we also want it the same from side to side. So I'm going to place this here. Now, if your leaf is so big that it is running into these leaves, just trace around, and when your pencil gets to your first leaf, stop, pick it up, and then go around so you don't draw through your first leaf. Now, lucky for me, mine fits just right in here, so I put it back, trying to keep that same distance from the middle, and I'm tracing around it a third time. And then the last time, it's going to go on the other side, matching that center line up with my folded line. And I take my pencil and I trace right around that leaf. And already this picture's looking pretty cool. It's got that radial symmetry. It's the same on the top, bottom, side. So let's add some color. So I grabbed some fall colored crayons, thinking about those warm colored leaves that are falling from the trees. Reds, oranges, yellows, pinks, things like that. I went for this orange, and I'm going to trace over my pencil lines on all 4 leaves. So I'm just tracing around where my leaf was, following my pencil line, and giving it some color. You're going to do this on all of the leaves. Now that I traced all 4 leaves, I'm going to be thinking about the lines that are inside of leaves, those veins that we see in a leaf, and I'm going to add some of those with my crayon. Here's a good example. If I look at this real leaf from outside, I see the line going down, and then these lines kind of come off and go up. So I'm going to try to add those in on my leaves. And because I'm trying to do the radial symmetry, I want to make sure this leaf looks like the other. So I might even just turn, add that same middle line. And I see I went like that, and I went like this, this and this, this and this. I'm going to do that to all 4 leaves. All right, now that I have all 4 of these traced and then outlined with orange, and I put my orange crayon on the inside, I'm going to take my leaf again and trace it 4 more times. This time on these diagonal lines that we hadn't traced on before. So I'm going to turn my paper to make it easier for me, set it right there on the line, and like we talked about, as I'm tracing, when I run into my leaf, I'm going to stop my pencil so I don't draw through the middle of that leaf. And then I can also trace the bottom of it down here, but I was careful not to draw on top of those. So I'm going to turn it again. I'm going to line it up on the line and try to make sure it's in the center the best I can. And then I'm just going to trace around the outside of my leaf, stopping when I get to the other leaf, adding this little bottom section. All right, there's 2. I'm going to do this all the way around, putting it right on the line, tracing around, but stopping when I get to the other leaf so I don't draw through my first leaves that I worked on. Okay, I got 1 more. There it goes. Tracing around with my pencil. And down here. Very nice. All right. I'm going to do the same thing I did before where I trace with a crayon, but I've chosen a different color of crayon for these 4. So I will trace around the outside. Ooh, I like that color. I'm going to go right around the edge here. And then I'm also going to put those leaf lines in like I did on my other ones. And I'm going to do that on all 4. All right, now I have outlined the other 4 leaves with my other color of crayon and also added in those leaf lines. I'm going to grab my paint here, set it over here, and some water. Now I want to make sure that my leaves are warm colors, those warm fall colors. So what that's going to mean to me is any combination of my red, orange, yellow, and pink. My background behind in the circle can be any of my cool colors, these green, blue, or this blue, or the purple. So I'm thinking I'm going to do yellow inside of these. And so I'm just going to wet my brush, gently dip into the yellow paint, and I'm going to fill in these leaves with yellow. Now, if you want to get a little fancy with it, which I think is kind of fun, is you can wash off your brush once it's yellow, get a little bit of orange, and you can add just a little bit of orange, kind of like a shadow at the bottom. And so I put the orange, and then I wash my brush clean, touch the side just to get it so it's just a little water. And then I just take my brush back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to erase any line so it looks like it fades from that orange to the yellow. And that just looks so nice to me. So I'm going to do that to all 4 of these leaves. I'm going to take the yellow, paint the leaf in yellow, gently making sure I don't go outside of my crayon line here. And I'm just going to fill in my whole leaf yellow. And then I wash my brush clean, get a little bit of orange, and add that little orange shadow. Now you don't have to do that. You could just make it all orange or all yellow, but I just think it's fun to wash my brush clean. Now, if I leave it like that, it has kind of a weird stripe. So I take my wet brush that is clean and I wiggle, wiggle, jiggle, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And that just makes it kind of fade from one color to the other, which looks really neat. Turning my paper again, getting that yellow paint, and I'm going to fill in this leaf with the yellow paint. Now I am using what they're called tempera cakes, so it's a solid tempera paint, but you could use watercolor for this also, just kind of whatever you got. Going in here, washing my brush clean, getting a little bit of that orange, setting it down here. Now I don't want to leave a yucky stripe, that doesn't look nice, so I wash my brush back and forth, touch the side to get rid of the extra water, and then I take my clean brush and I just wiggle and jiggle that brush. I go up a little bit until it kind of fades in. Awesome. Once you paint all 4 of these leaves the same color, that's when you can decide to do a different color. I might do red on the other ones. So I'm going to finish my yellow leaves, get a little bit of that orange to kind of fade in down here. Wash that brush clean, tap off the extra water, wiggle and jiggle to make sure that they blend together real nicely. All right. right, and those 4 are done and looking pretty amazing. So now I'm going to take my red and to add a little water over here, wake it up. And then I'm going to fill in these with red. I gotta be careful not to go outside those crayon lines. That looks so bright and beautiful. So we're just taking our time, we're not in a rush. Just adding that color into these leaves to make them really pop out. Now you can leave this a plain red leaf, or if you want to add a little extra like we did with the yellow leaves, you could do that too. So there's my red leaf. If I want to add a little extra, maybe I'll get some of this pink over here. So I add a little water to wake that paint up, swirl it around, and then I can put some of this pink at the end. Ooh, I like that. So just a little of this pink here at the end. And the same method, I wash my brush clean, little wiggle and jiggle to blend that pink with the red. That looks really nice. And I'm gonna turn it, paint this one red, and then add that little drop of pink at the end for each of these other 4 leaves. Now that we finished painting in all of the leaves, it's time to choose a cool color to paint behind them. I've decided I'm gonna go for like a blue, and so I'm just gonna start painting in with the blue behind the leaves. So I wanna be careful that I don't get the blue on my leaves, and I'm just kind of adding this paint into this area behind the leaves and staying in the circle. If you go outside the circle, it's not a big deal because we are going to cut this out and put it on a different color of paper for the background. So you're just going to be taking your time going around your circle, slowly but surely painting in this background. So we get the circle part and then around the edge of your leaves. And it really makes those leaves start to stand out. It's also neat to see the little pattern that the leaves made in the center, and we'll paint that part as well because that's part of the background. So I'm just painting around the leaves here and all the way over. Looking very beautiful. So you're going to go all the way around the whole circle. And you're also going to fill in this centerpiece in the middle. And that's probably the most difficult part because there's these teeny tiny little areas. And if you need a smaller brush, definitely get one or ask for one to make sure you can get in all those details. This is already really turning into a gorgeous picture that'll look so great for September and October and November. All right, now that you've got it all painted in, it's time to cut it out. So we're going to carefully take our scissors and we are going to cut around this circle. Carefully cutting around. And then we're going to glue it onto the background. All right, I chose a red square for my background. So I want to take my picture, now that it's all cut out, turn it over, and I'm going to take some glue, and I'm just going to do a thin line, not right on the edge because I don't want it to squeeze out onto the paper, but a nice thin layer there, and then I'm just going to do a couple of little lines. And that's all. It's not a ton of glue, it's just enough to make it stick. Now I'm going to take my red square and turn over my painting and gently set it right in the middle. Oh, wow. That really makes everything pop out. So I used kind of a complementary color for the blue, and I used the red. And so I'm going to turn it over and rub on the back to make the glue stick. And so then I have those warm color leaves, and then I picked a cool color background, and then to make it kind of pop out, I chose a color on the other side of the color wheel. So I was thinking on the other side of red, I'm going to see greens and blues, and so I chose the red to complement the blue, and I think it turned out really nicely. I cannot wait to see your radial symmetry leaves.